Hi, welcome to Joyous Earth. Today we're going to talk about this amazing crystal in front of me, rose quartz. So I know that most people know rose quartz, and often people bypass it or think that it isn't, as powerful as some of the other more obscure cool crystals out there. I beg to differ, and I was really surprised yesterday and last night when I was reading other people's posts about rose quartz or other books and stuff about it, and most people who talk about it say that it is underestimated, and I already had that opinion. I was just really surprised to see that a lot of the other experts in the crystal field thought that too. Anyway, please don't underestimate this. This is an amazing, powerful crystal. Most often it is one of the first ones that people get when they start their crystal collection, and for very good reason. It is another one of my foundation stones. So along with black tourmaline, clear quartz, amethyst, this is a cool one with cacoxenite in it, and aventurine, and kyanite. So they're my foundation stones. So rose quartz, the reason why I wanted to talk about it today is today's my 5th wedding anniversary. So there's been times in the last 15 years that rose quartz has played a really, really big role in me being able to stay open-hearted and refresh my relationship and my love and my ability to change and grow, but stay myself within all of that. So we're going to talk about that today. There's lots of different ways that you can get and use rose quartz. So these amazing bracelets which we have in the shop, you can have it in necklaces. Often it's made into beautiful hearts. Sometimes you get this cool generator shapes that came out a few years ago and still going strong in your beautiful obelisks. Or the main way that I use rose quartz, as you can see, is these beautiful chunks of it. You can also get it in amazing little tumble stones. So this is the first crystal that I ever got. It was at a shopping centre when I was 7 or 8, and I used it daily from that point on. Ended up giving it to a very close friend of mine, Gavin, who went to South Africa, who was South African, and he went home to be with his family when the apartheid was finishing. So that crystal has stayed in my heart for a really, I'm 44 now, for a really, really, really long time. And it was my entrance into actually knowing that these stones could do anything. Anyway, enough about me. So when you first use rose quartz, most people are attracted to it for its colour. It's easy. Some other crystals can be repulsive and have a little bit more temperament to them, whereas there's only a couple of people that I've ever known that have rejected rose quartz because they just weren't ready to open their hearts. But most people are drawn to it, and when you pick it up, even though it feels cool, there's a warmth to it. So what I suggest that you do even if you've been using rose quartz for a really, really long time, or it's the first time that you've ever been introduced to it, what I suggest that each time that you pick it up, or especially when you first start using it, pick it up and take it to your heart and breathe. You notice it's almost like a big stack of blocks when you pull it to your heart and you breathe, and it just allows you to take this a lot bigger breath and a lot more expansive breath, and instantly all of my body then just went and settled back down into myself. That's with one breath. So I know there's a lot of great meditations out there and climbing the mountain and doing all of that, but if you can hold one stone and put it to your heart and with one breath already be able to come back into yourself and relax, that is powerful and really fundamental in who we are as humans, and us being able to access our own ideas and purposes. So first thing that I ever do, or always do, when I have rose quartz is make sure I have that heart connection and I allow it to help me. As I said, it's a very easy stone to work with. It naturally, our bodies naturally absorb it and fit with it really, really well, whereas some other crystals take a little bit more time or a little bit more effort to tap into. Rose quartz is one of those ones where you instantly come in, and are pretty much across the board. And even with the people that do feel like they reject it or don't like it, I notice they keep coming back and keep touching it, even if it's in small doses, and they end up using it anyway. So the indications or the reasons or benefits to use rose quartz are anything to do with the heart or the lungs or circulation. So even when you've got a cold or asthma, anything to do with the pulmonary system, so getting oxygen into your cells, getting oxygen and blood moving around your body. The reason why, again, I call this a foundation stone, there's some other stones that are really good, powerful energetics that help all of those things as well. But with the rose quartz, what it does is it opens up an allowance of healing, an allowance of sitting your soul into your body and really incarnating here on earth and doing it joyfully, doing it in a way that facilitates harmonious growth and healing and change, and it helps you do it without effort. Because what it does is it comes in, it's like that really great friend, like you can be having a shit day, and that great friend that comes in and just grins at you and you start laughing. It's like, oh, yeah, life isn't quite as hard as what I thought it was 2 minutes ago. That's rose quartz. That's how it feels. It's how it works on the body. So a really good way that I like to use it, specifically in my bedroom, but anywhere in the house, I'll grid it. So this is one of my gridding kits. So I've actually got this kit with black tourmaline as well. So I'll grid a chunk of it in each corner of my room. I'll often have it with the black tourmaline. Not necessarily when it's in my bedroom though. This is more, the black tourmaline is when I'm putting it above my doorways when people will walk in, and I'll get to that in a minute. But when I'm using it in my bedroom, I'll just have the 4 pieces. It's relatively inexpensive, so even pieces as big as this, like they're only $8 each. So being able to have a nice chunk of it in each corner of your room. Set the intention before I ever actually do a grid with rose quartz or anything, but I find it specifically with rose quartz, I clean the floors and I really get the space. I chuck out everything I don't need anymore, clear the space, put these in each corner, sometimes with a piece of selenite, which is obviously not maybe as big as that bit, but and just set the intention for love and harmony. And when I say love, again, it's an underrated word. It gets used so much and bandied around so much, people don't actually understand the power of it. So when I have those in the 4 corners, say, of my room, let's do this here. So 4 corners, excuse me. I've got a lot there, but we'll do these. So I'm going to activate that now. So when I put them in the 4 corners, I have the place clear. I sit with the intention of having, every time I walk into my room, my sacred space, so whether I share it with my husband or whether you're by yourself, having that space that is completely yours, where you come back in to loving harmony, where the mind chatter stops, where the self-hatred stops, where the self-judgment stops. Having a space that is purely about nurture and harmony and worthiness. That is so powerful, and most of us don't even get that a breath a day, let alone having a whole space set up just for it. And the cool thing about using the rose quartz is once you do that, and it's really nice to do it, it's nice to clean with that intention, it's nice to put the crystals there with that intention, and then you can just leave it. And every time you walk in there, you instantly, it sets up the vibration again. It's like having that friend there. It's like, you don't have to consistently try to remember to be better and to be more evolved or more awakened. These crystals hold that vibration. They've been holding this vibration for millions and millions and millions of years. So you've been able to create that space, that container, to have that self-worth and that self-nurture, and to hold that space for you, specifically when you're sleeping and you're recreating who you are. You're releasing from the old day and bringing in the new. Fantastic crystal. So also, as I said, I have usually actually don't have such big pieces. Put little kits like that above each door in my house. So the black tourmaline cleanses and neutralizes, and the rose quartz, as I said, holds that vibration of self-love. So for myself, that when I come back into my house, it's my sanctuary. Everything else is neutralized and I come back into a place of harmony. Or even with the people coming into my house, their anxiety and tension or ill intent is neutralized and they come back into a space of harmony. So even if I've got, say, my neighbour's coming over and my dog's just eaten her chicken, which has happened. So I come over and like, this has happened. When they get to the door, they start, I've watched it happen, stop and they take a breath. And then when you do communicate, it's done in a way that's through the heart, where you can come to an agreement. It's not done in a way that is, or it aids for the ability to have the communication be done harmoniously. So you come to a really good solution, powerful. And again, remember with the crystals, they're holding that intent and holding that space for you. So even though you have to activate it, and it creates, no, you don't have to activate it actually, you have to allow it. It creates that space so that you do not have to constantly being bombarded by other people's stuff and other people's energies, and you can just come into this place that you've already set up. And these are those gorgeous touchstones for that. I was also going to talk today a little bit about activating crystals. So as I said before, what I do to activate my rose quartz is I bring it to my heart, breathe into it, come down into my own space, and I allow the magnetics and the energy from my heart and my system to mix and integrate with that of the rose quartz. And then we both come online, we both come into communication. Again, it's like having a friend that you've just met, and after a really great conversation, they turn from acquaintance into a friend. That's an activation of a crystal. Specific ones like your clear quartzes and stuff, or all of them, when you apply pressure, it creates a force and or a force through the crystal and the crystal structure that applies or allows a transference of information. So that's activating as well. So rubbing is an activation too. But I find that's true. I find even say with the rose quartz or the clear quartz, activating it with my heart or my internal intent, depending on the crystal, creating that communication pathway, creating an allowance of transference of information. So then the crystals and you start working together and it becomes your own unique activation. A little bit of a sidestep there, but I know in the last video I said that I'd talk about that. So coming back to rose quartz, some of the amazing crystals to work with it are a bit windy, camera's going everywhere. So to work with rose quartz, my fave is black tourmaline, but also you can see it when you see these two together. This is amazonite and rose quartz. Rose quartz is activating that deep self-love, that nurture, that where you're making the choices from a place where it's actually soul driven and harmonious and open and allowing to the joy that is here on earth. And Amazonite is a really, really powerful crystal for soul purpose, for staying aligned to your truth, so it is about love and all of opening the heart, but more specifically about being a functioning holistic soul purpose unit. Coming up with some fantastic phrases here. So having those, you can probably see just by looking at those two together, having them together again creates that template that you can step into. So if you're going to a job interview, or if you're moving, I know for me, I've sometimes, or have in the past, found it really hard to move into women's circles. I was brought up by men, the majority, like I had two brothers, my dad and my mum, and I grew up in a town where there was only two other girls my age most of the time. So I've always found it confronting, and I'm not necessarily understood all of the things that I felt, or liked all of the things that I felt from those group energies. So when I move into those kind of groups now, I've learned to be able to hold my energy, to be loving and allowing and optimistic, and even being able to, and that's when the Amazonite comes in, being able to hold the space of divine feminine, who I am, without competition. I'm not in competition with anybody. And if other people feel that from me, I used to react to it because I felt their energy, whereas now, whatever, you know. So having these two crystals for me is a really, really, really strong loving enhancer of who I am in my true potential and my deep guided sense of self, which is supremely loving and kind. So fantastic crystal. Another one to use rose quartz with is green aventurine. So again, these are all heart stones, so you're looking at the green and the pinks for the heart chakra. Green aventurine is a fantastic crystal for clearing early childhood programming, and re-enabling early childhood programming. So when you're a kid and you go outside and you can turn a tree into a city, and just your imagination comes back into play. Things are fun. You can have two friends come over and have a whole weekend turned into this huge adventure, and you've never left your house or your backyard. So green aventurine is very much about luck. It's at that possibility. It's being open to possibility. And when you use it with rose quartz, which is allowance of love, allowance of divine self and self-worth, true self-worth and true possibility, or connection to possibility, is a fantastic combination. Really one that I feel like everybody should at least experiment, because I feel some of these combinations are severely lacking in what we see in our TV programs and what we hear at school. And so starting to experiment them. And the cool thing about crystals is because they have that strong vibration, they ground it in for us. They help us be stable in these feelings, so we get to experiment with them and decide if we like them, and decide how they can be implemented in our life. And so we start naturally being drawn into those things, and then we gift it out to other people, our friends and our family, because we know what that feels like. We can hold that space, and then other people are attracted to it. So what else? Rose quartz and clear quartz. I'll get a bigger piece for this one. Who wants to come down? No. What I'm doing here, all of these crystals are in the shop for sale, so I've not really used them before. But when you're working with crystals, like I've got all of these rose quartz in front of me. It's like having a whole group of people in front of you. There's some that just work together. You know, everybody can get along, but there's some that just creates this synergy. That's better. Still not feeling that that's it though. Okay. No, that one. So, okay. Clear quartz and rose quartz. They're basically the same crystal, but clear quartz, rose quartz has titanium, one of the strongest metals in the world. I don't find that a coincidence either, by the way. The heart and love, the strongest force in the earth. Anyway, sidetrack. So these two this combination of crystal is powerful. Powerful in the way activating your allowance and your mental capacities, your clarity, activating your heart and your deep self-worth, and bringing in the light and stepping it up to, so it still feel good, but that you're moving it into a space within the world that, yeah, is more of the mind. Especially this crystal I keep getting, she keeps telling me she works with the mind. So and what I mean by that, when I say that, I don't hear a little voice going, I work with the mind. Sometimes I do, but this time I can just feel this energy in my mind opening up and really communicating with this side, this part of my body. So bringing that to my deep heart, so that my activities and my communication are precise and clear and divinely, soulfully inspired. Really, really cool. And remember, all of what I do and feel is mine. These are just these amazing little, well, not little, but they're conscious, but they're a slow, definite consciousness, not fast and changeable like us. So it just helps me be able to recreate and feel different things, so I know what I want to recreate, what I like, what I'm capable of, what I'm grateful for, what I appreciate, so then I know the path forward. Yeah, so working, that's really, really lovely. The next one is amethyst. This one, she's been out in the sun and on the ground for a little while. This is an Australian amethyst. Still got bits of grass from my front yard. Not feeling that. Oh. That's nice. So these two crystals, again, both quartzes, so very, very similar, if not the same in makeup, just with different mineral compositions. This is where you start getting into, you've moved into your heart, you're allowing your self-worth, you're bringing out your pure potential, that sparkly, really feel good, amazing space that you're actually, is your birthright, like that divine energy flowing through you. And what I find with the amethyst, especially the Australian ones are very earthy and very, like, they dive in deep pretty quick, but a bit slower vibration than the Brazilian ones, or a different, longer vibration than the Brazilian. Anyway, so when I use them together, let me feel these. That's nice too. With some concoxanite in it, which is also a very earthy crystal. So when I use amethyst and rose quartz together, what I find is it opens up my internal intellect. So not my mind, not exclusively my mind, my ability to deeply connect with my intuition, to trust myself. It defines the self-love and the self-worth, where I feel like it comes in deeper, and it really puts me into where I start being able to intuitively understand processes and situations. It helps me, especially if I put it with these two, with selenite, really connect my third eye, instead of working from my third eye and just feeling everybody's truth, which is true, but it's their truth. It doesn't mean it's the ultimate truth. It's just what they feel or think at the time. So what I do, especially when I work with these two and selenite, the three combination helps my third eye really deeply connect in and be aligned with my my crown chakra and my higher soul star, and then up into creation. So my third eye, the information and the internal communication and intuition isn't only or the majority of it isn't coming from other people's perceptions of themselves and their situations. It's coming divinely inspired. So I can see a situation, I can see that Deborah feels like she has this huge disease and everything's going to go to crap, and I can see divinely that that's what she feels and believes, whereas maybe that's actually not true. It's just she's 4 steps before that, or there's more information there, it's clearer. So working with these just even by themselves, if you don't want to really activate your intuition to a point where you're really out there and picking up lots of stuff, but if you just want to really come in and start getting clear on who you are and what you want, great combination. And if you want to really get good at bringing in divinely truthful information and perceptions and psychic awareness, mixing these two and selenite together is a phenomenal combination. Rose quartz in meditation is really fantastic for when you're a beginner, or even when you've been doing it for a really long time. What it does is it allows you to come back into the first step, the first place, that fundamental area where your journeys through the astral plane or any of the other planes of existence are heartfelt and coming from a true place of self-worth and depth. Sometimes especially if we're meditating and we're moving through astral planes, it can be really chaotic and there can be a lot of, there's just so much there, like it's amazing. So when you're meditating and you're working with rose quartz, it really comes in. I wouldn't say it's a protection. It's different to protection. What it is that you don't even go into places where you need protection. You can go into challenging places where you find out information to confirm or clear or whatever. But I find when I use rose quartz in a meditation, or within the grid of a meditation, it really holds that center space and allows me to stay clearly in allowance of who I am and my soul purpose, so I'm not waylaid by story all the time. So I hear a lot of people say, I can't meditate because my concentration goes everywhere and I'm thinking about this and I'm thinking about that, and then I get frustrated and pissed off and I have to get up. This is and amethyst is fantastic too, especially that combination actually, but this is a really good stone for easily sidestepping all of that, and you just coming in, even if you're breathing and meditating into your heart and just feeling that allowance. It's quite profound, and again, it's almost like the sweet pill or the quick fix pill. Very fantastic. So when you wear rose quartz, so you can, you love these because usually if you wear it on your left hand, that's got your heart meridian coming through it, but wearing it anywhere on your body, because it isn't an overpowering crystal, you'll find that you can wear it for really long periods of time without causing any like some crystals that you wear, like I might wear for a week and I have to take off, whereas with rose quartz I usually find that I'll wear a piece like this until the cord breaks, and then I might do something else. But so yeah, wearing rose quartz above your heart in a crisis, it's not about deflection, it's about staying in your space and being in a really consistent harmonious vibration, so you don't need to deflect anything. Everything naturally rolls off, and it's that classic saying, bullies only bully someone they can bully. So again, a really good rose quartz is a fantastic stone over the heart, or even mixed with a bit of tourmaline if your kids or you are being bullied. Really good for that. So this is a neutralizer and a deflector, and this is a harmonizer and keeping you really self-aware and in that divine love. So even if you are hearing negative things coming from someone else's pain, don't take that on as your own, because you really know who you are. So again, the Amazonite is that real knowing your own personal truth. What else have we got? Last one is, last two. So I've got rose quartz and obsidian. So this is this is my quick cleanser. This is being put in the washing machine with some Softly. Okay, so the washing machine is the black obsidian. Just cleans. It's fire energy. It's made from lava. It's made from that deep, hardcore, amazingly powerful earth creator of a volcano. Comes in and just clears. Doesn't take time to stabilize it and anything like that. It just comes in. Amazing, amazing cleanser. So if you're using black obsidian, just sit back and relax and watch it play out. So and it's not something that I would use consistently. So mixing that with your rose quartz, you can see it just looks beautiful. So it's having that washing machine, having that cleansing effect, but making sure that as you're being cleaned, you're coming back, or you're holding the space of that divine self-worth. Unlimited potential is rose quartz. So really, really good combination. More for emergency situations, or when you're just sick of it and you just want something to move and just needs a really good spring clean, use obsidian. When it's more for that consistent daily, you use the tourmaline. And fluorite. Fluorite has become one of my favorite crystals to have to say. It's nice. So fluorite is a recreator. It re-establishes connections, or it creates connections that were never there. So fantastic for the mind, neural pathways, fantastic for the body, any kind of healing where things have to be knitted back together, and you want them to be knitted back together whether it's emotional, mental, or physical, where you want them to be knitted back together with dexterity and flow and harmony and health. Really fantastic crystal is the fluorite. So mixing that with your rose quartz, they're quite different vibrations. They're different, very, very different crystals. Like a lot of the ones that we've done today are the quartzes, and they're vibrationally quite similar. These two are quite different, and especially depending on the fluorite that you get and the color and the shape. But as an overall with fluorite and rose quartz, it's recreating or establishing, bring my energy back in, establishing form how you want it. So maybe I would use rose quartz and the amethyst to find out who I am, and even rose quartz and, oh God, that's beautiful, kyanite to clear and harmonize quite quickly. And then I would bring the rose quartz and the fluorite in when I'm ready to manifest what I want, when I'm ready to step into the magic and see it through, and I know what I'm grateful for, I know what I want, I know, because I've done that work. And then I'm bringing in this amazing stone with the rose quartz, so I'm staying soul-centered and purpose-driven and divinely inspired, and I'm bringing in this amazing what would I call fluorite. It just connects everything. It's like that personal assistant, or that amazing manager who just comes in and goes, oh, I got this, I know this person, and this sorts this. Oh, you haven't thought about that, what about this? Really, really good crystal. So I use fluorite a lot in the crystal elixirs. So all of these I do in crystal elixirs, by the way, so have a look on the website. When I use fluorite, I'm using it when I want to create and write blog posts, or I want to create a new program, things like that. I'll do it from the heart space, and I'll have this amazing potential that doesn't keep me, it allows me to step outside the mainstream, step outside the box, step out. So and I usually have rosemary burning in the essential oil burner. Fantastic crystal for creation. So those two together. Anyway, I reckon I have talked a lot. So this afternoon or tomorrow morning, depending on time, I'm going to upload a rose quartz meditation, and I'm going to keep it under 10 minutes, so it's quite easy to do. You can even do it while you're in the shower, something like that, something where you can fit it into your day. Whether you have a rose quartz or not, having it helps because it's your touchstone, but you can still do the meditation even if you don't have it. Okay, beautiful one. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye. Remember, visit Joyous Earth and subscribe and like if you like this video. Share it with all your mates. I would love to get this information out there. Bye.